She don't want it to be too dry, too wet. It gotta be like in the middle and shit. Shit trash.
Who said any of this?
I already know,
Who said
man.
any of this?
She be like,
Wow.
ew.
Wow. So-called God's children. Wow.
I know, right? Y'all just being so
Hey, man, we
heathen.
just telling the truth, man.
He just act like that because he's seen that live
Y'all
slide
better-
in there.
I haven't seen it live. in
Y'all
weeks.
better start reading. If you go to I got an echo.
There you go.
Somebody TV in the background.
I got an echo.
How you do?
I hear it.
Oh, I heard that.
All right, we good now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, man. If Mary, I know you like to read.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
No,
well-
you just got mad because I said I don't read the Bible and history books or some shit like that.
What else is there to read? But the go to the book. So it's called Song of Solomon. Go to chapter 2. They giving head and eating ass in there and all that. Shit get real.
Your
Telling
point. What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm just telling her to read. That's all. Because somebody said something about God's children. Listen, man, I'm off you. Don't make me put back on you, Asia. You straight?
That was Eddie that said God.
Why
Sure.
are you threatening me?
Nah,
Why am I getting threatened?
Nah, I ain't like how Eddie was going. You ready to wrestle with niggas? Yeah, he cooked chicken and shrimp and lamb sometimes.
Make tacos.
She about to tussle over
You
Eddie.
make different
Yeah,
types
you
of
feel me, Isha?
Right.
Look at Eddie just chilling. See, yo, shout out to
tacos. You make kebabs
Hey,
and
Asia, speak
tacos.
for him.
Leave him alone.
yo Eddie. Eddie would be a great Code D, man. He ain't crack a smile or nothing, man.
Does he know what's up? Talk about it.
They had a chat before we all got on here. Don't worry, y'all.
Right.
Word, man. It's good. Yeah. Hey, man, it's good to be here. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Welcome to Wednesdays. It's going to look a little bit different today. So the leading topic is obviously communication between men and women, but there's a couple other things that we want to explore. Know what I mean? Makes sense? Everybody doing this, even Mr. White was good.
Yo, what's good?
You don't have a lag, do you? Hey, your shit make me
so.
nervous, bro. Golly, Mary, what up?
What's up? How you doing today?
You know how your internet is. Blink twice. I just want to make sure your shit on time. Alright, cool.
That's
Good.
fucked up, but I just asked you how you doing.
Oh yeah, man. I'm doing the right thing. I seen you yesterday. Let me see that shirt though.
Oh, that's right, y'all.
Shit like that.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Y'all see that?
Shit like that. Shit like that.
No doubt. Q is good.
Ain't shit sitting here with the this might be risky tee.
Word. I like your outfit too.
You feel me? Got the little sports jacket joint. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Out here
Alex.
looking like fucking security guards.
Hey Q, when your next show?
Oh shit. I got something coming up May 27th, I believe.
Where it's at, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Once I get the info, I'm gonna put it out there. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to you, man. Let us know. May 27th, we're gonna have the whole Might Be Risky on cast and some viewers pull up.
I appreciate it.
Damn. Alex, what up?
Hey, Hemp.
What's going on? How you?
I'm good.
That's what's up. Ish was good.
What's good here? What's good?
Hey man, I love your new job, yo.
Right. Make it.
Man, you don't look all tired and run down like you used to.
Yo, nah, that ain't the reason why she happy. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the reason why she happy.
All right.
What's his name?
I was like, what's his name, Ish?
You got her nails done too? Adrian, right. Ish, I got a question.
Don't do that here. My nails always done. Don't do that.
Yeah, they always done sometimes. Hey, what?
Always.
He paid for them?
No, I paid for my own nails.
Put him in the bathroom. Go ahead, Hemp.
I already came maintenance. Like, I don't need nobody to keep me up maintenance.
Okay. I can dig it. Love was good.
What's going on?
Ain't shit. Everything's everything.
Everything is everything. Living the
Chief,
dream.
are you a coach, Chief?
I am, sir.
So if you show Big Chuck, fuck it. If you 5 minutes early, are you late?
If you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
I seen the basketball team record. I wonder why. Chef, what's good?
We don't do that. I'm 77-4 in the last 4 years. You better stop playing with me.
Yeah, Special Olympics. Yo, Chef, what up though?
Yo, Wagwan, what's poppin'?
You all right?
Yeah, chilling, bro.
Who the fuck you been at? How about that?
Restoring my mental health.
They drained you up here?
Nigga.
You know what? I take back my approach. I apologize. I respect it, man. This might be risky. We here. All right, look, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Let's get right into it. So I want to start off with a current event today. All right. Did anybody hear about the Nashville shooting?
Yep.
So I'm gonna let this clip play a little bit. We'll interject here and there, but I just want to make sure everybody is on the same page. All right.
Police releasing surveillance video of the moments leading up to the shooting there at the Covenant School, that grade school that left 3 young children dead and 3 administrators dead as well. We want to show you that right now. We want to just warn you that this is very graphic and viewer discretion is advised. It does show the moments the shooter entered the school and began looking around. Let's watch. Okay, so there you can see the vehicle the shooter drove, that 28-year-old from Nashville, driving up in the parking lot here of the school. This was released just moments ago by the Metro Nashville Police Department. The shooter, who the police identified as Audrey E. Hale, saying that the individual identifies as transgender, entered the building by firing through a side door. There you see it.
So obviously he shot through the glass.
The shooter walks in, kicks the glass.
Did y'all see the other surveillance information of videos?
2 assaults.
No.
Okay, of the actual when they took her down.
Yeah, I seen that.
I did.
Okay, I can't play that because that'll get us demonetized. But that you gotta go look at it if you're not. But this shows her walking around inside the school. Showed her pull up.
Style weapons and a handgun. That's according to John Drake. He's the Nashville Police Department chief there.
It just feels eerie to me, like shot down the door. You can see the alarm going off. You're just walking around like, I don't know. It feels aimless.
So remember, the police identified 6 victims in this shooting there, the shooter, and you can see bracing the weapon, the sirens, it looks like, going off there. There it looks like they pass some type of front entrance. This is a private Christian elementary school.
So if you look right here, if you watch the other footage, this is where they took her down at. For some reason, she was shooting out the window. I don't know if it was at the police per se, but they entered through the front door on the first floor. And then the shots were going off upstairs, and then they went upstairs. And then that's when they got to her. It's funny. There was a few police, not funny, but it was 2 police with handguns. And then the officer that actually went first had an assault rifle. It looked to be similar to hers. I'm not saying it was the same, but it just looked similar.
The police chief, John Drake, said that the assailant was, quote, at one point a student at the school there. And so there you can see the broken, shattered glass in that second story window as well. So we wanted to make sure.
All right, so you guys saw this already, or is it brand new to anybody?
I didn't see that clip specifically. I never seen that.
This is new.
I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of clips. The one that was on not the Shade Room, but was it Baller Alert? Maybe. They showed the police. Huh?
Baller Alert and Neighborhood Talk.
Yeah, they showed the police entering the building. A couple of different body cams. The main body cam is the one that actually deleted her. You know, you see her friend that she sent a message to talking about something about to happen. Did you guys see that? Her friend, it was a black lady, I forget her name, but she sent her some messages just saying, hey, something bad about to happen. I want to appreciate for how you treated me. They were teammates. I don't know what sport it was, I guess back in the day. And so she let her know that something was going to happen. She obviously didn't say what, and this was the aftermath. There was 6 victims, 3 children. I think it was 2 girls and 1 boy, all 9 years old. And then it was 3 adults. One of them was a black guy. I think he was a janitor, if I'm not mistaken.
True. True.
Mm-hmm. I cannot remember his name. So she was transgender. I guess she's born a female, living life as a male. If you guys watch any of the protests of what was happening, they were at the Capitol or like something like the mayor's office, and it was people for LGBTQ rights. Just saying like the trans community shouldn't suffer from this, or they're scared that their rights are being provoked. Whole time in my head, I'm like, nobody ain't saying shit about the 3 children that got killed, or the 3 adults that died. Mm-hmm. That was the main focus, right? I heard things of mental illness, so on and so forth, reasons why. So that's the recap I want to give the situation, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Love, what you think?
I don't see their purpose of the LGBTQIA plus community protesting or even being there. Like this, that's not the right time. That's not the appropriate time to think about yourselves and your rights when this tragedy just happened yesterday. And these people, innocent people, literally lost their lives. And you're more focused on your rights being removed and, you know, marching for what you don't want to happen to you. I think that was extremely selfish. Poor timing, and you're taking the spotlight off of something that shouldn't be taken off of. It's not about you right now. That just shows selfishness to me.
Okay, indeed. Ish, as a Christian, what do you think about it being at the was it a Catholic school? I don't want to get it wrong, but it was a
Christian. So they came up saying Christian.
Okay. So they made a distinction, right? So I apologize for that. But a Christian school, do you think there's some type of connection? Is there attack on those morals and values? What you think?
I don't think that there's an attack on morals and values as much as there's an attack on children, because it happens in all types of elementary schools, not just Christian schools. But maybe because of her identity, and if she went to that school before, maybe she was chastised for being a part of the alphabet community. Maybe that's why she went to that school. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, so she did go there, right? She went there as a kid. She's now 28 years old. I know it was made mention that she was hiding her guns from her parents.
Yes, she sold one. They didn't know that she had multiples or others, because they told her, you know, to get rid of them. They didn't want the guns in their house. And so she sold the one that they knew of. So they thought, according to the mom, that she got rid of all the ones that she had, and she did not.
Okay. Thank you for that, Asia. What's your thoughts, Mary?
My thoughts on the situation is, of course, it's sad. So my condolences to the families affected. But also I agree with what Asia said. The selfish act by the ABCDFG community, and just that this is like the time where they should, be supporting something and they're not. So I don't like that either. And I also am not liking the gun blame. I may be, the unpopular opinion, but I don't feel like it has anything to do with the gun specifically. And of course, my personal belief is all this shit is a setup to ban guns. All this school shootings and all that, like they're really trying to push the ban on guns, and I don't think that's necessary because guns don't shoot by themselves. I believe it needs.
What about the type of gun?
No.
You think it's necessary for civilians to have assault rifles?
A gun is not going to shoot by itself. So
Do you think it's necessary for civilians to have assault rifles though?
I mean, if that's what you want to have, shit. A gun is a gun. They can all kill somebody.
So do you think the firing rate of a gun matters?
No, it doesn't. What matters is who's shooting it. It's not going to fire on its own.
So if a gun can fire 100 bullets in a minute, you don't think that gun can do more damage than a revolver?
I'm not saying that it can't do more damage.
I'm asking you.
What I'm saying is it can do the same damage. Yeah, it still can kill somebody. You can kill somebody with a handgun. You can kill somebody with an assault rifle. The issue is the people that have these guns.
Okay, so you're saying that the type of gun, the rate of fire makes no difference to the amount of damage you can do?
It's not about the damage. It still can kill somebody. It still all can kill somebody.
Yeah, you're right on that. However, the impact certain guns can make has to make a difference, no? So are you saying that if I had a bazooka and you had a 38 special, we should be the same scared?
If somebody's in front of me and you, and they're gonna get shot, they can die either way. Either way, they could die.
Okay. All right, cool. Alex, what's your thoughts?
Sorry. I think it's
What's your thoughts about what Mary said?
So people want to have their guns, that's fine, but I think I agree with Hamp. Like, I don't think a civilian should have an assault rifle that is made for wartime. I remember when the Uvalde shooting happened and they were talking to a doctor, one of the ER doctors, and she was saying that they had a previous school shooting and they were planning and they had drills, and she says the problem is, she says, the kids would have survived if it was a regular handgun. But if you're thinking about it, she says these guns, they're coming at a rapid pace on their small bodies and they're literally shattering in their body. There was no chance of survival in comparison to if it were a handgun. When you're thinking about when these mass shootings happen, when you look at Sandy Hook, when you look at the shooting that happened in Vegas, it's rapid fire. It's taking out multiple people. There's no time to sit down and think. It's literally moments. So one bullet, a handgun, I don't know how many bullets it would carry, but that compared to an assault rifle, there's little to no chance of survival. Like that, you're completely mutilating someone's body with that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And well, let me get some more opinions. Mr. White, what do you think about people mentioning well, I want to save this one for Q. This question though, about the mental health and mental issues. Do you feel like that what do you think the impact when we blame it on that?
I think it's an excuse. I really think it is definitely an excuse because we all struggle mentally in some way, shape, or form. And then you have people who struggle with different diagnoses, but they don't take it to that extreme. So I really think that's just an excuse that people use, kind of like scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? But with the guns thing, I feel like you can have whatever type of gun you want to have too. Right. So I'm not for telling people you can't have an assault rifle. So like for me, eventually I'm gonna be locked and loaded, right? Because the reason why we have that right is to protect ourselves from the government. Things are changing, right? And then it's just a matter of time before they get to a place where you got to be able to take out a lot of people. So do I think they need to do something differently? Yes. Do I know what that is? No. But me personally, especially with having all girls, I would love to be ready to take out however many at the drop of a dime. So I don't think that should be hindered because you have a few people who are using it for the wrong purpose. You on mute, man.
Yeah. So somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that automatic assault rifles are banned. So I think these are semi-automatic assault rifles that they're using. And I think there may be like certain brands, magazine capacities, right, that can change the game. But to Alex's point, those guns do hold more bullets than, especially a revolver, right? Most of them are 6 shots. But to Adrian's point, if you're trying to protect yourself from the government, does it really matter what type of gun you have?
No.
I could be wrong, but I think they got tanks, Adrian.
Yeah. And helicopters and all that.
And then like well-trained Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
Trained bring a knife to a gunfight.
I got daughters, man. I'm thinking about anything. People running up in here. I'm thinking about anything. Yeah. And I think too, like the majority of people are not using it incorrectly either.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find that balance?
So do you remember the guy that fell all over? He was trying to catch a fly ball, and he fell over the what's it called? The railing. I think he was in Boston. So then if you notice, the next year, every single stadium had those nets to catch people because it only take one life, right? Like, so are you saying that those lives, how many lives need to be taken for us to consider making changes?
I don't think that's the issue though. I think if it's the school, we need to do things around the school to protect the kids, right? And then, so you can't have people to where, you know, we can be more proactive and be forward thinking to think, okay, how might these people try to attack the masses? But a lot of it is going to be, we just have to respond once it kind of happens.
Okay. Q, did you see where they were blaming it on, you have eccentric thought. So on testosterone, did you see that? The congresswoman, her name is, Mary, you know, she from the Midwest, a white lady. So her name probably Mary Jo or Mary Jane, one of those. There's only one or two names they use. So she blamed it on like the testosterone levels, right? Because she was transitioning.
Yeah.
Could have caused like a break, which causes to happen. What do you think?
I think that's bullshit. I actually truly believe, and this is from just me doing a little bit of research on female serial killers.
Yeah.
And I think that when women kill, especially multiple people for whatever reason, it's usually thought out. It's usually premeditated. And I think there was some evidence of that as well, that this was premeditated on her part. And I don't think that, provided the obvious evidence that she was a student there at one time, that that would be far-fetched. That, you know, she didn't think about that. She didn't have somebody in mind, or just some type of anger towards that establishment. But I don't believe that it had shit to do with no fucking pills or transitional aspects to her life or her life. That's bullshit.
Got you. Chief, what do you think about the protests that were happening about LGBTQIA plus rights after this transpired?
I mean, I kind of agree with Love was saying. Like, it's just poor timing. Like, you have every right to advocate for yourself and your people, but it was just terrible timing, bro. Awful timing.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand. It seems selfish.
I'd say so. But to Q's point, when she was talking about, I mean, not slightly off the question, but when she was talking about how just premeditated, like, obviously we all know it's messed up, and I understand, and I get it. Even if it's premeditated, like, go in there and get the person that did you wrong. If that's the case, if you're thinking about something, like, go get the person who has you in this mental space. Why these babies though? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough for me because I'm in education. I have kids who are in elementary school too, so now it's even more of like an angry thing for me because it's just like I can't even imagine, bro. I can't imagine it.
being in education, what is the protocol? I know is it like get under the desk as though it was a what an earthquake?
So as unfortunate it is, we do have like these type of trainings, and like police officers sometimes walk through the building and shoot like air shots, and just till you hear the noise and we go. But it's you barricade yourself, you barricade the doors. Everybody's in one corner. We're low, they're stacked behind desks and whatnot. There are actually some classrooms now. I saw a video the other day. They have like retractable bulletproof rooms in the classroom. Like it folds up against the wall, and you pull it open. It's like a L shape, and you just pull it open. It locks in, and all the kids going in the room is bulletproof. And that's unfortunate that we have to do that in a classroom. But yeah, it might be like a 10 by 10 space, but you literally just pull the door. I'll send you the link. You pull the door, and it forms a square. Everybody's in there, lock the door, and it's a bulletproof room. But it's sad that we have to have that in school.
Yeah, and we got to pay for that. You know, it might be worth it. But
I wonder if that creates a little bit of trauma in kids with the school resource officers blowing air guns. Like, unless it's like a fire drill, like we're gonna have a fire drill today at 11 a.m. So is it like we're gonna have a drill of an officer coming through and popping off air rifles?
It's definitely a plan. It's it's a planned lockdown. So we plan it, we strategize it, and it happens. But it's a planned lockdown. That hasn't happened in my building, but I've seen it done in different places. But we have planned lockdowns all the time. But even in lockdowns happen for a shooting that happened down the street, nothing to do with the school. We just lock it down to keep the kids safe. We don't want nobody in and out, no traffic. So. And parents, you know, we had lockdowns, I remember 3 times in a row, and parents were complaining about that. But it's like, yo, would you rather us not lock the school down and something potentially happen to your kids? Like there was no danger or no threat to the school, but we just had to take precautions. And it's unfortunate, but you know, it's good practice for situations like this.
Word. Damn. Chef, what's your take on the incident? And AW said I think somebody said go get the person that you are after. She said she took out the head of the school, which doesn't negate the children, right? If she was 28 and this is elementary school, when did she go there? 20 years ago?
Yeah, about 20 years. That's crazy. Yeah.
What's your take on this, Chef?
I think this is definitely agenda-based, just considering what this looks like over the years. Like Chief said, like, why the focus on schools, right? You have, and I'm not advocating for this shit at all, but you have other public spaces. Like, why is it always schools, right? There's almost a playbook being played out, right? These people are deranged, right? They're almost exclusively white, right? So there's this homogenous idea that there's only this particular group of people. And then what's more popular right now than the alphabet people? You know what I'm saying? Like, how interesting is it that this person identifies as this and is able to do these type of things, right? So I'm low-key a conspiracy theorist when it comes to these type of things. So I'm looking at it like, and I'm just putting questions out there. Why is it that this particular person with this particular branding decides to come back to a school, elementary school at that? Like, you're telling me that you've harbored these type of feelings for 20 plus years, and the best solution that you came up with is to shoot babies?
Hey, real quick,
it just doesn't add up.
Real quick, just for curiosity's sake, I've heard alphabet people before, and it was from a comedian. I thought, you know, it was funny at the time, but is that technically like offensive to the LGBT community, or is that like what they consider themselves?
I'm not trying to learn. They pop up with a letter every other week. I mean,
everything is offensive to that community.
I'm not trying to be political correct around that. Like, I think alphabet makes more sense. If like y'all gonna keep adding letters, like let's just say alphabet.
Yeah, I know that. I think it is still LGBTQIA+.
Yes, the plus. Yeah, I think that means they're going to end after the A.
No, numbers coming next.
The numbers coming next.
Well, somebody said the P's coming.
I've been saying that for years.
Go ahead, Alex.
Just going back to like the guns. I saw that she purchased 5 or 6 different guns from different locations.
Mm-hmm.
Is there not a system that flags, or like, I think like if I'm a gun store owner and someone is coming in and they're purchasing massive rounds, and that's like, is there any type of flag that goes off? Like,
this Tennessee. Right, different stroke. Depends where you at, and it might be just 5 or 6 stores because they ain't had a gun she want. It's like shopping for Jordan, right? So I don't, we look at it like it's a gun, but if she's just a gun enthusiast, right? They go get the gun forever it is, right? Like the cat's waiting in line. I wonder why. Do you think our community is hypocritical? Because I don't know if we react as harshly with all the killings and shootings that happen in our neighborhoods. Why is this so much different than that mass killing and shooting that happens? If I just use a generic place like Chicago,
You got to go back to the way that the demographic is. This is a white woman, identifies as transgender, and everything that comes with that is triggering left and right, right? And who has the most political power right now? That group. That's why they felt they needed to protest to get ahead of this shit, because they know people largely don't rock with this, alternative anything lifestyle, right? However they say it in public, but they have to jump. It's more of a PR move. So, like, in terms of our people, it's fucked up, but we're desensitized to it. Unfortunately, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're very desensitized, and like, it's not a healthy thing whatsoever. But you got to consider, like, when we see these things, like, yeah, like, oh my God, this is horrible, this is sad. But we'll go right back to living life, because it's like, oh, that's just another day, unfortunately, for Black people.
Okay. Q, final thought on this? Unless anybody else had anything pressing?
Yeah, I think there's something to the conspiracy theory that Mary had mentioned, and also some of the stuff that Eddie was talking about. And I don't think that we should be completely blind to that. I mean, you think of any big news story, and there's always all these intricate pieces that are missing, that we're like, well, why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that? These kids that done been kidnapped for years, and they're like, yeah, the police went to the house 7 times prior to. You're like, how the fuck did they miss that? I think there's a bigger agenda with a lot of this shit. And I think that some of those moving pieces that we can't quite wrap our heads around, there's something bigger to it than to Alex's point about, how much she was purchasing and stuff.
Interesting. Like, share, subscribe. God bless the dead. Yeah, man. It's interesting. What she brought out was a good point. I think you're 100% accurate, where it's saddening and it's traumatizing, but it's necessary, right? Because all it takes is one kid, right? You got Sandy Hook, right? So, crazy. All right, let's pivot a little bit. We had a spirited conversation in our group chat, so let's explore this next one. Y'all see my screen?
Yes.
You said that a man that takes care of another man's child is weak. That's what you said. Can you please explain why?
That's not your child. That's not your responsibility. Your intentions may be in the right place, but it's not. You're not going to benefit from it. It is very rare. I know y'all love to use Shaq as an example. Shaquille O'Neal, I think he wasn't raised with his biological father.
Oh yeah, right.
But how often does that happen? That's very rare. And even so, children deserve both of their biological parents, which is why it's imperative for both men and women, but mainly women, because there's more women out here with children out of wedlock than men. Pick the right person the first time.
So now, what if that doesn't happen?
I don't know what to tell you.
No. Because you can't say. So you're saying that every man that takes care of another man's child is weak.
Yes.
It is impossible for every man to grow up. Well, right now, as we're talking, every man does not have a man in their life. Or every child and every boy and every girl does not have a man in their life. So who's supposed to take that role as the man in that life?
The biological father. If the biological father is not there,
then
maybe.
You said.
Interesting. I forget who shared this clip. Who put this in the chat? Huh?
It was Chief, right?
Nobody knows. Okay.
It might have been me. I don't remember.
All right, Chief, do the honors. So I'm posing this question, but you can go away with it depending on how you feel or interpret the video. But simply put, is a man weak for taking care of another man's kids?
I don't think so at all. Absolutely, not even like a smidgen of weakness in that whatsoever.
Why not?
I mean, isn't that the essence? I mean, we always talk about how the single moms and this, that, and the third, but you got a man willing to step up and help out and help raise her children to be better people, and all of a sudden he's weak for doing so. It's contradictory as fuck, don't you think?
I don't know. I gotta assess it. Are you done with your thought?
I mean, I completely disagree with the statement being weak. I mean, but I'm also biased because I've had a passion for kids since I can remember. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the nature that I live.
Okay, that's fair. Anybody else?
I think this is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just think it's crazy. I think
they being nice to each other.
You know what?
Never mind.
Have manners. Get decorum.
It wasn't no eye roll or nothing.
Go ahead. He done licked his lip 3 times since she's. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I think it's crazy because it's like they used to make fun of the news, and news would happen in the neighborhood. And they would find the cruddiest, most ignorant, illiterate, inarticulate person to sit there and ask them what happened. I feel like this is this woman. Like I think this is ludicrous to me. This is crazy to me. And she says it with such confidence. Like, you can sit there and get a podcast mic off Amazon for like $5. And everybody that want to talk, have a voice, want to sit there and go in front of a podcast mic. This is ridiculous. That is crazy. It takes a village to raise a child. Like, where did that African proverb, like, what happened to that? So because another man steps up and says, I'm going to be this father figure, this father to this child, because their father may have died or may be in prison or whatever, and they decided to take that role and take that position. How is that looked at as a weakness or a deficit? I think that's admirable. Go ahead.
So what is the return on investment for your kids, let alone taking care of another man's kids?
The return on investment is that you produce a viable citizen in the world. What is
the return on investment of taking care of your kids, let alone another man's kids? Are you saying it's just like a feel good thing? Because if so, it takes $300,000 to raise one kid. Feel good doesn't feel like it's enough.
It's not about feel good. It's about this person, this being is here on the planet. They're going to be raised properly or they're not. So if you have the capacity to lend your wisdom, your everything that you have to create this and mold and shape this being's life that's already here, then do it. How is that considered a negative? That to me is crazy, that this person, this being is here. Like, what are you gonna just let this being just float throughout life without having that male role model or that male figure that wants to do it?
Let me ask Sid B's single, so I want to get him in to see what his thought is. Now, question. Who was it? And it may not have been you. I could be wrong. There was a homeless person that needed some food or something, but they didn't give it to him. Who was that?
First of all, First of all, I'm glad it sounded
like I'm telling you, boy, I can remember now. But no.
The woman asked me for potato salad, first of all, and I said no because she was nasty and mean. So I gave her cheese and crackers and lunch meat instead. I gave her, but she was mad about the potato salad, and I said, I ain't giving no potato salad. Don't be nasty. So I gave her food, just not what she wanted.
Fabricate much? All right, B.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'll say this in terms of taking care of someone else's seed. I had someone to come along and to take care of me when my biological mother left me in the hospital. So it can be rewarding. However, I will say that when I dated women with kids, you can, as a man, put yourself in a sucker position, that I will say, and the woman will take advantage of it. I would also say that experience has taught me that if you decide to take on a woman who has kids, experience taught me there's always going to be that connection with her baby father that she's always going to have. And for me, I always felt like I was disrespected because it would be, oh, buy this for my kids, buy this for my kids, but you can't tell my kids what to do. You can't do this to my kids. You can't do that to my kids. And it was always, when there was an issue with the child, it was always the mother and the baby father, and I was excluded. But you want me to do X, Y, Z for your child. That's where the sucker position comes into play at. I will say this, upon listening to Hamp and taking his advice and talking to my other friends, if I was to date a woman with kids, she could have no more than one. But I also say this to myself and to single men who have no kids, you have that right to start your own family. So if you're dating a woman with kids, don't exclude her. But if you see a woman who is single, and if you think that's the better option, and if you want to start your own family, go with option 2. And no woman can be upset with that. I've also noticed that a lot of women in their young years, they choose the Ray-Rays and the Pookies. Then later on, you want a good guy, a square, to come along and take care of you and your bastard kids. Well, that ain't always how it works. And in today's society, most men don't want to take care of someone else's kids. And yeah, I said bastard. I'm a bastard. Okay, we need to call things what it is. I'm a bastard. Okay, I am a bastard. I have another brother who's a bastard. I have nephews who are bastards. If you're a bastard, you're a bastard. I mean, so but I will say to that, I wouldn't write her off, because there's a lady I got an interest in who has one son, but I ain't gonna call no names. Shh. But I mean, don't write her off, but I do say explore women who do not have kids.
So you're saying it might be preferable, but you actually opened up your options, right? Because initially you were saying that you wouldn't date a woman with kids.
Exactly. When I first started dating, I would date anything. But then I realized I was being taken advantage of, so I changed my mindset on dating women with kids. But after talking to Hamp and other people, one. Now you got more than one. I can't do nothing for you. But she got one. She got one little bastard out there. I would prefer for them to be a boy.
All right.
This nigga's wild.
Hey, yo, there's so much I want to say, but first of all, be very selective when you take advice from him. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
First of all,
that part.
Well, let me defend myself. It is called self-esteem. It ain't called we. I do what I need to do when I need to do it, and I stand on what I say. So you ain't gonna get no wavering or no capping from me. So I want to be clear on that.
What's wrong with what I said?
Nothing. No, I'm absolutely. I mean, it's always a good conversation, but I just feel like, one, you are absolutely entitled to choose whether or not you want to date a woman with children. That's totally and completely up to you. However, if you're going to date a woman with children, then play the role. You've made that decision. Yeah, but you allowed yourself to feel used because she reverted back to her kid's father. I think for me, if I'm in that situation, I'm like, listen, this is what it is. I'm here too. I'm present. I'm here every day just as much as he is. So we need to have a conversation. You don't let her. If she wants to
doesn't happen.
Say what happened?
What happened when it doesn't happen? Because B's speaking on real experience.
No, but then he made a choice to leave, which is right, which is what I would have done. But I would have at minimum been like, nah, you're not about to exclude me from this. I'm in this kid's life every day. If he want to come talk to me, he can come sit down and talk. But you're not about to exclude me because he's the paternal parent. We're not doing that.
Does that negate the sucker position be mentioned?
As in him being,
you are in a lose position, right? Unless you're included by both people. You are like the outside third entity.
Right. And again, I'm putting that on B, not on her. Like you chose to be in there, B, you state the claim. I'm here for you and Shorty, and I need to be included in this. And if I'm not, then I can step back and you can do your thing.
Question, Chief.
Yes.
Do you think that your children's mothers having a connection to you still?
In terms of like the relationship connection?
I don't know.
No, I think they know I'm a damn good father.
Okay, but it's totally separate. Like they don't take you personal, nothing crazy.
I mean, it depends on the situation. I think there's still like some bitterness that flows around, but I don't think it has anything to do with the weak or sucker version of it. Like, I don't think that has anything to do with
I'm
raising
just
our
saying
child.
that connection, though, right? That can be a red flag.
And it just explains so I'm not sure I really understand what you're saying.
If they still connected to you, if they still bitter towards you, but they trying to date another man, why the fuck, if I'm the other man, why the fuck you bitter towards that nigga? Fuck that nigga. But that's not actually the case.
There's still feelings there is what you're trying to get at, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. To answer that question, no, ain't no feelings there no more. It's about the baby. We just agree on different parenting things. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? So
gotcha. Now, if there are lingering feelings, do you see that as far-fetched? Not for you, but just generally speaking. Could you see that more of a probability, like women having lingering feeling or some type of emotion towards their baby father?
I mean, it happens. Yes, it happens all the time. But I think they have to come to that adult decision where it's all about the kids. We gotta let that shit go. Like me and you is done. We've been done. It's about these babies now.
Yeah. Q, what you think?
Actually, I think that it takes a pretty strong person to raise or care for another man's children. So for me, the answer is going to be no. It is not weak. You got to be strong. You got to have a strong mind. You got to have a lot of confidence. I think maturity, a level of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Able to care for somebody else's children, because you're dealing with a lot of factors in there. You're dealing with the fact that, one, that child is not yours, but there's a 9 out of 10 chance that they know and understand that they are not yours. So that comes with a layer of something. Then there's also what the mother will and will not allow you to do when it comes to those children. And I think being mature enough to have that conversation as to what those things are, and you being able to accept the things that you may not be able to do that you feel you have an entitlement to. I think also then when there is either an active or inactive father, how to really deal with that part on an emotional level. Because I think for some people it's easier when the father is absent, but that takes a toll on the child, and you end up dealing with that stuff. And then when the father is active, to some people's points, making sure you don't have those insecurities there, thinking that there may be something going on that may not be, because everything is dead between those two people, or making clear that, I can handle being a part of this 3-party co-parenting situation. So it takes a strong person to be able to do that, in my opinion.
She meant a lot. Alex, the part where she said, so if you heard the whole clip, if you heard her speak after this, because I've seen her on a couple panels to do my due diligence, she was saying that people are making bad choices and they think they have other options. But really, if a woman makes a bad choice with the man that she picks and he's not in the child's life, barring being deleted or something like that, then she need to live that up, focus on herself and take care of that kid. It shouldn't be somebody else's burden.
So what is your question?
What do you think about that sentiment in its entirety? Because it says people got to make better choices. They think there's other options out there.
I always start by saying this, that I'm not a parent yet. I can only speak on the seat that I sit in. I think when it comes to having kids, it's not just on the woman. It's not. And the conversation, the narrative is always just the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman. Now, I do feel like if he presented himself as an ain't shit nigga before you had kids, don't be surprised when you have a child with him and he's acting said way. I do believe in that. And I also do know and understand that people change. They don't show their true colors and so forth and so forth. I think when people decide to have children, it's a two-way street. And I don't think that because said situation didn't work out with the child's father, that the mother doesn't deserve love and that she doesn't deserve to want to have, the family unit that she desires. Now, does that mean that she's going to have to date? That means that when she goes out and she's dating, she's going as a package deal. Don't be with someone who isn't understanding of what your lifestyle is and understanding that, hey, I have a child, and to love me is to also love my child. And if we're going to go in this, you're not just dealing with me, you are also dealing with said person. If this is not something that you are ready and willing to step up to, then please leave me alone.
I want to get some people with some experience in it. If you don't mind, Mary or Mr. White, whoever can go first.
I agree with Q. I feel like taking care of another man's kids, like that's strength. I feel like raising kids that are not yours, it requires nothing less than strength. Like I think that's very important, and I also don't feel like kids should miss out just because their parents made the wrong decision. My son, of course, is not from my marriage, but my son's 8, and my husband has been in his life since he was 3. If since his father is in and out, his biological father is in and out, he has to ask my husband permission to get him. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of that dynamic falls under who the woman is and what she's going to stand for. Like I said, my husband been in my son's life since he was 3, so you call the shots. So when it come to, my son's father randomly once a year being like, hey, can I get him? I'd be like, you got to ask his dad. Like, and that's just what it is. Like, it's just the way the dynamic is. I don't think it makes said man weak. If you want to handle the situation in a weak way and be in the background, that's on you.
Okay. I think that's a key point you just made. The empowerment, right? You gave control to your husband, so now he deals with that situation. I think that makes a huge difference, and I'm not sure that is common. Mr. White, so shout out to Mary. Mr. White, what you think?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say they're weak, but I'm not gonna say it's a sign of strength too. A lot of times men do it and they do it for a stupid reason. Like they're not even prepared or aware of everything that comes with it. And they don't find out until they're already married or they're already with this person. And then they live a life in which they're not happy and they feel like Camp's question, what's the return on the investment? Right? Oh, I can't talk to the kid because they haven't established all of that in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So I think the majority of the men who do it, most of them are stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, just they just don't. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into, and I see it all the time. Yeah, well, I ain't know this, and I couldn't do this, and it's like, well, you didn't think to see if y'all were on the same page prior to. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with me and my wife, we had all of that. Listen, they're gonna be treated like they're my kids. Period. I'm gonna have a say so. This is how I'm gonna move. If you're not aligned with that now, we are not going forward. If I want to beat the kids, I'm beating the kids. I have no problem with beating up their dad too. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not going to go like, so now it's going to be no surprises at all, right? And for me, I ended up changing the way I discipline my kids. That wasn't her idea. She's like, all right, cool. But I fell back from physically disciplining my kids as much because I don't want to come on like that. But that was my decision. You know what I'm saying? So I really think men are not equipped to deal with it. You'll be surprised how many men don't even feel like they can speak to kids in their own home. Kids walk in the crib right by them. I wish one of them niggas would. But that's not established in the beginning. So I think men take it on because they get, oh, you taking care of somebody's kids. That's what's up. Not knowing what they getting themselves into, y'all.
Yeah. Chef, single man perspective. What you think?
I think one thing, and Chiefs slightly touched it, the peer bonding aspect, right? I think we miss how much influence, right? Your spiritual, physical, all that connection has on the imprint of a woman, right? And Q spoke on this as well. It's just like, look, like no matter if the quote unquote love is gone, your imprint is always going to be on that woman, right? So, Chief mentioned if she gets to a point where she gets bitter and all the other stuff, that's on her to deal with, to heal from and all the other stuff. But you got to consider, like, it's the reason why I don't think women should be sleeping with a whole bunch of men, because that pair bonding aspect, you might get one, maybe two guys in your lifetime where your body is physically connected to that man up until, your DNA, right? So anything he does automatically affects you, right? The raising of your children, how he leads, all the other stuff, right? So when you don't do that, when you out here thotting and bopping men and women, and we're not taking none of that stuff seriously, we don't really consider that connection as wholesome. So it's just like, yeah, I'm still a father. I'm here for my children, but I'm not connected to you. That woman kind of has a right to look at you crazy, right? Because it's like, yo, like we were meant to be connected in this way, et cetera, et cetera. But that also depends whether or not the situation was called for it to be serious or not, right? Sometimes it's just frivolous sex and you're just out here doing whatever. But in terms of that connection, that's all I'm speaking to. That connection is something we don't really consider as serious.
Word. Isha, what you think, Playboy?
I was raised by my stepdad. And he didn't treat us any different than his other kids. And now that my mom is not here, I can still call him and ask him. Like if I call him today, like I need $500, I'm getting the $500. And he was just like when he introduced me to his friends or family, those are my kids. Me and my older brother, those are my kids. So I really do think that it takes a strong man. It takes strength to raise somebody else's kids, even to the point when my own biological father pissed me off. My stepfather was mad because we are his kids. My son was raised by a stepdad. To this day, I'm no longer married to him, but his family is still very active in my son's life. Like every weekend, they send him allowance. They're in his life. So
it sounds. It's beautiful. It really is. I would not recommend it though. Not at all. Because the risk and the reward, the risk and the reward, the risk isn't worth the reward. I think we have to be more objective, right? We all have subjective point of views based on how we feel, but the objectivity has to matter, right? The risk, the ROI, all of that stuff. If you don't measure that stuff, like Adrian's saying, you're gonna go into the situation with your eyes wide shut. You gotta be more realistic. You can't say that somebody else's asset you're going to invest in, and then it's a 50-50 shot that you get a return on investment after you did all the investing in it. You're not going to say, yeah, take that deal. But because it's children, we're saying there's no way you don't take the deal. You got to be smart about it. God bless my man P that Mary, because she had to relinquish that and say, you deal with this, you handle this. That does not happen. That does not happen. How Adrian was able to handle his, right, from experience and being able to look at it. He went into it the right way, having real conversations, laying down groundwork. That does not happen. And I gotta give love to the kid's father for even allowing that. Right? Me 10 years ago, I'm not hearing shit. Then what? Because now all that threatening and fighting and shit, now you got to see who can win the fight. Right? Like that's what is really happening, especially by what Alex said, Pookie and Ray Ray. Now what? They don't give a fuck that Mike 6'2" and got muscle. They don't give a fuck. But you saying, yeah, go ahead and sign up for it. I'm gonna tell a young man, really, really consider it and consider all the aspects of it. Am I bugging?
But I feel like, why is it that like women, like often people say, you know, you're not gonna find a man without no kids, so you might as well, like, you know, it's like our options are slim too. And it's like naturally everybody just like, okay, like, yeah, you know, naturally we're gonna always take care of the kids like our kids. But I feel like that's way harder as a mom doing it than it is on a dad doing it.
So
like that stuff like that don't even get mentioned.
Those statistics don't add up though. Those statistics don't add up. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, Chief. If every black woman got married right now, there'll still be 1 million plus black women without a man, including those with children. You know what I mean? So like
a majority of men have children though.
No.
Even if those guys get married, there would still be an excess amount of women still out here, single mom or not, without a man to choose from.
But
it's
also
still imbalance.
But the majority of single men don't have children.
You don't.
But regardless, what the real shit is, technically what
Don't matter now.
What I'm saying is, when it comes to women, people don't even second guess that shit. Stop laughing because it's not.
I just dismissed the reality. It's just like whatever.
Put him in a fucking bed. Get him out of here.
That's crazy as hell.
Because we're not even including all them crackers. Like that's probably including cracker numbers. We're not even.
No, we're only talking about black men.
Numbers.
I don't believe it. I need more people. But but what I'm saying is that why is it okay for women to just naturally have to do that and it be looked on as that? And then it's like, because I realize a lot of men, like how they deal with their baby mothers is differently than a woman is willing to deal with her baby father. Like some men just be like, oh, that's just how she act. Like they like to blow off like a lot of the shit that they baby mothers be doing instead of, putting them in their place. But then it's like, we the ones taking care of the kids. We the ones doing all the hard work. The man most likely is the one working all the time. So who's home with everybody's kids? And it's like, people don't even acknowledge that. And it's like, that shit is hard on a woman. But it's like, oh, that's just what we're supposed to do.
It is. Let me be quiet.
Asia.
Nah, you're right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying you're right. Like you are supposed to nurture and take care of the kids while I take care of everything else because I'm taking care of you too. So I think that's where the difference is, right? Like I'm taking care of my wife, and not saying she couldn't go out and get it too, right? Because she has that option, MBA, author, she can easily go do it, but this is what she prefers to do. So absolutely, take care of the babies, take care of the house, because that's what you want to do, and you will be taken care of.
But
it's not, y'all are not taking care of us.
Is she obligated to take care of somebody else's kids? Like your other baby mom kids? That's not her obligation.
You just said it was.
My kids.
But those are your baby mom kids too.
No, they're my kids. She is obligated because the roof over her head is provided for, right? All of these things are provided for. I was just kissing on her feet. You know what I'm saying? Rub the feet last night. I'm taking care of everything out here in these streets. I'm trying to become a better listener. I'm listening to these investment options. I'm meeting all of these needs. Absolutely. But that's where alignment comes in and you having these conversations up front. So while there are certain things that you can't prepare for, because we are so aligned and we had all of this stuff already talked about how it's going to go, what the expectations are going to be, what's going to be prioritized, that you're going to be responsible for this 99% of the time. I'm responsible for this piece over here. We'll support each other. It's a lot easier, but even with that, it's still hard. That's why I say men are not even really equipped. And from the couples that I work with and the families that I work with, it shows. It shows. So I'm like him. You don't just jump into something like that quickly. Oh, she bad, or oh, she a good woman. And the kids, oh, they little. Nah, you better talk with her. You better figure out what her priorities and things are. Because you got women, especially how they protective over their sons. Nah, you're not about to touch my son, or you don't need to. Nah. Go that way.
You think that women
Go
get
that
less?
way earlier.
You don't think that women get less of the return than the men do that step in?
The men get that step and get no return.
But they do. Like niggas get cookies all the time for being stepdads.
Huh?
Women, I said niggas get cookies all the time for being stepdads.
Have you ever heard of Mother's Day and Father's Day?
So are you saying, Mary, like just my understanding, are you saying that like
Q, you next.
Men get more credit for stepping into the step parent role than a woman would in stepping into the step parent role?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Q.
Yeah, that's what I was understanding too, was Mary was just kind of saying, if a woman steps up to the plate as a stepmom, no one's like, she's an amazing stepmom. But they be like, yo, this nigga right here said like he is an amazing stepfather. Like he take care of the kids.
For real. That's exactly how it be. That's exactly how it is. And that's
but you know what?
It's
crazy. Also the same way when a biological father is a good father to their own children. No one overly praises a mother for doing the default, but when a father is active we also praise that. And I've always thought that was a weird flex. Like, ain't that his job?
Right.
I disagree with you. I disagree 100%. Niggas gloss over Father's Day. Father's Day might be on a Monday.
Yeah, how about this? How about fuck Father's Day?
Father's Day Tuesday afternoon, cuz we don't get a whole day.
Fuck Father's Day. I'm not talking about y'all getting socks and shit in comparison to the mother getting a Birkin bag. I'm not talking about the holiday. I'm talking about in general.
You're talking about praise, right? You're talking about praise, ain't you?
The black culture.
You're talking about praise, though, right?
Father is active in his own child's life. For some reason, that gets highlighted as something great, as if that's not his job.
But you said praise,
but you see,
right?
You see, keep nodding his head though.
It's a very accurate statement.
It's
a very accurate statement. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But go ahead with your point.
I respect Chief. I don't agree. Fuck, I care.
You don't think that men get more praise for being in their kids' life than women do?
No.
But and I think
that's why I use Father's Day as an example.
But even when it comes to praise, if you're looking at Mother's and Father's Day, niggas not posting their baby moms and they shit like that. They posting their mamas. We don't get that. We don't get that damn praise.
Is their mom not a woman?
We're a good women. When it comes to Mother's Day, a lot of people are praising their moms, their aunties, and shit like that. People that raised them. You don't see niggas posting like, damn, I got a good ass baby mom. I don't got to do shit, and she do everything because I'm a fucking bum. You don't see no shit like that.
I think as a society, we are so used to men, particularly in the black culture and just what media shows, we are so used to black men doing the bare minimum and not being there, so that when they do something small, it's, oh my gosh, he's such a good father, he's doing this and he's doing that. But it's just like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Statistic, but
it's on a daily basis. You're supposed to do this. But when women do it, we don't get those accolades in the way that men do. Like, for us, it's just normal shit. But for men, when they do what they're supposed to do, it's like, oh my gosh, Dr. World, he's doing this, he's doing that. Like, you're supposed to.
I must be living in a different world. Yeah, Chief, my bad.
No, I'm saying to everyone outside of the men doing this shit, like I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do. To man who's doing his job, we ain't looking for praise because we know that's what we're supposed to, just like y'all.
Right, but you get it. But that's
right. And it's I think it's I do recognize I think it's some bullshit, but my response is like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I appreciate you, but this is, you know what I mean? This is what I'm supposed to do.
And even down to like, if a guy's walking through the mall with his kid, that could actually be used as a piece to pick a woman up. A woman pushing a fucking stroller with a kid is a turnoff. So it's completely different.
That's true.
Men with kids are attractive. When we see you being all fatherly and shit, it's just like, okay, look at him taking care of his responsibilities. That's such a cute baby. That's such this. Yes.
And women with
a kid, it's like, oh, I don't want her. She got kids and baby daddies and shit.
But you telling me to tell young niggas to sign up for it?
I'm not telling you to do that at all. That's not what I'm telling you. Let's not confuse it too.
You could bring one of the babies on. Devin got the baby on last week with the thighs all in the camera. That's cute, right?
Say that, Q. Say that. Yeah.
Hey, yo,
but
real quick.
Woman on this piano be holding a child. That shit gonna look like, yo, that's mad ghetto. What the fuck she doing with the baby on the podcast?
That's true. Q.
I gotta get. So look. I gotta get Asia in, and I want to transition. Chief, you had a thought on this?
I was just gonna kind of ask a hypothetical question to you and Adrian, being married men. Hypothetically speaking, God forbid, you gentlemen pass away. Would you not want your wife to get a strong man in to help raise your children?
Yeah, all praise. I hope she get a finest sucker that can take care of all 6 of these kids. You damn right.
So he's weak,
ass nigga.
So he's weak.
He dumb. Who the fuck want to take care of all 6 kids? That's stupid. Matter of fact,
put him in a fucking bedroom. Get him out of here.
If anything ever happened to me, somebody please sign up for this shit. Please.
Technically, she only got 4, so.
Mary, why don't you mute and
but
go?
She only claimed 4.
I mean, she got a point. She got a point though. In both of y'all cases, like if your wife led by the philosophies you did, you wouldn't be married.
If your aunt had a dick, she'd be your uncle.
True, but you see my point.
So, yeah, we don't think she don't think.
So you're like a living contradiction.
No, I'm not a woman.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so therein lies the difference. He just painted it out. If I'm in a mall, or what'd you say, Alex? I'm in a mall or whatever the case is.
You in the mall holding your baby up. or with your baby or doing your fatherly things, especially being that you're a girl dad, women are gonna lose their mind.
What they be saying, right? Oh, it's so cute, this, that, and the third, right? So we even said it right there, Chief. It's different, just on a very superficial level.
I agree, but I was one time thought my sons. They asked me if I was their coach. Like, it's fucking surprising to see me walking with my shorties in the mall. That's serious.
That was Q's point, right? I guess. But then they inquired, right? A lady pushing a stroller, just a lady pushing a stroller. You know what I mean? The connotation is different. Hypocritical or not. Asia, did you have something on this?
I'll get a final thought. This is a summation. I think it takes
Asia, can you read this on Super Chat, please?
Hey, Mike. It's understood that women and kids are a package deal. If a woman steps in, she doesn't have too many requirements and kind of going with the flows. Kind of understand what he's trying to say. There's not many commas where there should be. But thank you for the Super Chat, Mike. And appreciate your comments.
Shout out to Mike Brown with the $5 Super Chat. Asia, can you read this one?
Hey, Ask Abe, $10. Mothers who are single receive far more praise than married mothers.
Different topic.
Real.
Yeah, they think we got it easy.
Man, we can we gotta tackle that next time. Go ahead, Asia.
Just a summation. I believe that men that take on another man's child takes mad strength, as others have said on the panel already. I just want to reiterate that. I don't think it's a sucker move. I do agree with Mr. White said you have to have the conversation with your partner and say, how are we going to raise these kids in a blended family? Do we agree on this? Because if my needs are met or how I agree things should go, if it doesn't fly, then I can't be in this relationship. And it is upon you, the man, to agree to that. And so don't be passive. Again, take the lead role. And if that conversation does not go as you believe it should, then you shouldn't be a part of that relationship, because those kids are a package deal. But all those that have stepped up and are taking on that role, kudos to you. Both men and women that take on that role, kudos to both of you, because it takes major strength. And my prayers are with you because it's hard.
Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now if you can. It helps the channel the most. All right, let me start off with just more of a generic question, right? Not too inflammatory, I hope, but knowing y'all, ain't no telling. Who listens to understand better, men or women? Look, they rolling it. Golly. Man, oh man. Look at Eddie. This nigga drunk as a skunk. What? Eddie, you need to take a nap, man. I could call Terrence.
I thought nigga was at work.
No, he actually in the back.
Have you meet up with Asia before the show?
Let him in. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mary!
Niggas in color their hair, got here wild. Let him in, son. Let him in. I'll be in the chat. Let him in.
Asia don't put you under the table, boy. Welcome my man T to the show. He saved Eddie ass. Jesus Christ. All right. Who listens to understand better, men or women? I want to start with Isha, then Alex. Unless Isha say something crazy.
No. I'm gonna be real. Women, we listen to respond. Men, I think men listen to understand better than women do.
Damn. Okay. Shit like that. Alex, look. You can't stay on code now, Alex.
It's the complete opposite for me. We listen to understand. That's why we ask y'all so many clarifying questions. That is why.
T, I seen you shake your head as soon as Alex started moving her lips. What'd you think? That nigga T on the motherfucking flip.
Frozen.
T.
Men listen to understand. Women, what?
Q, you have one job, Q.
It's that corner him.
What?
Yo, T, you look like you. What the?
Put him in the
Men
bathroom.
listen to understand. Women listen for ammunition.
T, you gotta go out and come back in. Your shit look crazy, bro. Like you got an Android from Metro PCS. Go out and come back in.
You need more minutes on your Wi-Fi.
Y'all ain't
Look, Eddie, you had to get.
But I'm back, niggas.
All right. Oh my God, B. I got tears in my eyes. B. B started bluffing. What the fuck is?
I would say men listen to understand better more than women do. Prime example would be at work. I can tell, and I can correct the man a whole lot quicker and easier than I can with the female. The female always want to give me back talk. Well, I don't need back talk. I run the show. I've been in management roles since I was 22, 23. I'm pretty damn good at it. I just need you to do what the hell I'm telling you to do so I can do what the hell I got to do so we can get out this motherfucker on time. Well, since you want to argue back and forth, I can't leave work on time now. So that means you don't come in tomorrow because you done been suspended. So that's how this is going to work. So I would say men listen, understand better. You come back Friday.
Damn. Shout out to Mike Brown with the $5 super chat. He paid for his commas, man.
Shit like that.
So B says, okay, so Isha says men listen to understand better. B agrees. Then he gave an example of when he's at Mary. Wait. I'm trying to recap. So before I was rudely interrupted, B gave an example about at work where he had it's hard to correct the women because they are not listening, and then he got to give them real repercussions so they get the message. Am I right, B?
Affirmative.
Indeed. Go ahead, Mary.
I feel like women listen with no understanding, but I feel like men just don't listen. So
clarify.
Women will listen to you. They will sit there and they will listen to you, but they're not going to understand what you're saying a lot of times because it's not what they want. So they'll listen. They got the listening part down, but their lack of understanding is because emotionally they're thinking about what they want to hear versus what you're directly saying. And
So,
I feel like,
but Mary, is listening connected to comprehension?
it should be, but is it always? No.
Then you're not listening if you don't comprehend what somebody, like if somebody's speaking German to me, I could be looking them dead in the eye. If I can't understand what they're saying, it doesn't matter.
But you still hear them. You didn't watch a movie for 20 minutes and not know what the fuck the movie about.
Now, why'd you change the word?
Change what word?
You said you hear them. I said listening.
Same shit.
No,
it's not.
Oh God, here we go with the technicality. You can hear somebody, you can hear noise in the background. All right, but that doesn't mean I'm saying that women do give that opportunity to listen more. They do. Women will listen to you. Women will listen. Doesn't mean that they're gonna understand you. No, why you not letting me finish? Women will listen. And this is why I say niggas don't listen. Didn't I just say niggas don't listen? This is exactly why I'm saying niggas stop at listening. They don't even get to the understanding part because they cut it off at listening.
Love, can you jump in?
See what I'm saying?
So I believe that comprehension is lacking, right? That's the issue. And so men don't take the time to attempt the comprehension. It takes a lot of work to focus on what a woman is saying. We may use a lot of words. We may use 10 words to your one. And so you all jump in and out of the conversation. So therefore you lack the comprehension. As Alex said, we definitely listen to you to understand because we want to make sure we fully understand. And that's why we ask probing follow-up questions because we didn't fully understand what you tried to say. So that should prove that women definitely listen to understand. Like, listen to the question, listen to understand better. definitely women, because we ask follow-up questions. So wait, you just said X, Y, and Z, but 5 minutes ago you said ABC, right? And so we definitely listen because we connect phrases, we connect sentences and paragraphs. We listen and trust and believe. That's one thing y'all don't like about us, because we listen so hard, as y'all say sometimes. Men don't listen. You jump in and out of conversations. You jump in and out of conversations, and your comprehension sometimes is lacking because you don't fully listen to the entire sentiment that is being stated from us.
Q.
That's some bullshit.
I agree, Asia.
Q, what you think?
I'm gonna have to call out Asia, aka Murray, and Alex. Y'all captain. The question is, who listens to understand better, men or women? I think it's pretty evident from this podcast that the men typically listen to understand way more. And it hurt to say that, because Asia be having his moments where this nigga be so reactive. I be like, did you even hear what the fuck was said? But it's not often. A lot of times I see and observe that when we speak, kind of what Eddie is doing, maybe he's just high, Chief will take notes. And then sometimes Adrian will actually come back and try to get clarification on something. So to me, they tend to listen better to understand than women do. And that's just my take on it. But somebody said, like, we listen. I think I said last week, we listen to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you said.
We're not even, we just hearing shit. We don't even.
Shout out to Q. I like your glasses, Q. Drunk Chef.
Yo, Wagwan.
What you think? Look at his name, y'all. Look at his name.
Nah, chill. But yeah, I think love just got it twisted. I think Mary, I think the idea of hearing is what women do profusely to the irritation of most men. It's just like, y'all hear us left and right? But again, the logic that you use around whether or not you listen to the message that was being delivered, that's where it all goes to hell. Because most women do not listen to understand. Y'all hear it, and then y'all the outcome that y'all want is not what you want, then it gets dismissed.
That's what Isha said.
Like what just happened when I spoke and Ham sat there and didn't say anything and just went on to somebody else. And so, So when I gave, I'm about to explain it to you, please. Listen to understand, please. So when I gave
Nah. You saying because I didn't give.
People
I'm not. Mary, please. You the most interjected Negro up here.
It don't matter because you don't listen.
Unless Nay is up here.
You listen.
So here's the thing. I chose not to give commentary, so I wasn't listening. And then I'm listening so well, I instantly heard Mary try to change the words up to make it fit her narrative. But I ain't listening.
When I'm talking, I said when I was speaking, I didn't say.
I know. I just chose not to give commentary. I can't change not to give commentary.
You typically give commentary, and so I made valid points. Never used the word hear. I used the word listen. I made my statement and gave very valid follow-up supporting sentences afterwards. And I would like that to be addressed, please, by one of the men on the panel. Thank you.
I like that shit. I cook Mary ass. I was trying to give y'all some. All right. So,
shit.
Why don't you take a nap or something? Chief, what you think?
Yes, sir. I definitely think men listen to understand better than women. Women listen to pick apart what we're saying. And we can't even get a sentence out because, let's just say, Asia. Sometimes it's not just whomever, any of you. It's difficult to talk to somebody.
No. I like it like that.
I'm using her as an example. I'm not addressing it to you, but it's like, Asia, it's difficult sometimes to talk to you because it's difficult to get through to you. But right now, instead, what I hear is, so you saying I overreact? I'm like, no, I didn't say that. What I said was it's difficult to get through to you, and our words are twisted and picked apart, and that's when we just shut down, don't want to communicate anymore. So now when you're talking, all we hear is not just you, but I'm saying in general. What happens typically is women tend to pick our words apart and create their own narrative and then come back to us and we're like, yo, like I didn't even say that. And that's when the argument happens.
Have you ever considered, and again, it's just an example. I know it's not towards me, just an example.
No doubt.
Have you considered that when you say, hey, Age, you don't listen, you just listen, whatever. Have you ever considered it's because it's the words that men use could be inflammatory? Anything anybody says, those are very declarative, demonstrative words, and it's all inclusive. I never listen, Chief. Like I'm saying, so you have to be very careful of the words that you use. I think men just throw words around, and then so I'm like, so what are you trying to say that I'm not? And that's when you sit there. So what you're trying to say is this, and so I think that the words used matter. And so if I do get it wrong, and I say, so what you trying to say? Da 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 da. What's wrong with the follow up saying, no, Asia, I didn't say that. This is what I'm talking about. I said this because when A happens, B, C, and D follow. What's wrong with giving the follow through? And that's what the patience from men sometimes is lacking.
There's not so that's the thing. When we say A, you question A. When we say B, you question B. So now we're sitting and go, yo, why are you asking me all this question? What I told you is the truth. So now we feel like every time you question us, you think we lying.
No, I think that we just want supporting statements. We want support. Don't sit there and just throw out words and stories and accusations and or words. A lot of men just throw words around.
How much more supportive can we be than being direct? You ask the question, we answer your question, but you want to die. You can't. It's a haiku. You ask a question, I answer your question, you question my answer. That's the nature of conversation between men and women.
But that's because a lot of men also have a tendency of thinking that they said something in their head that really didn't come out their mouth. So they'll be like, oh, I meant it in a such and such way, but not how I said it. Or
that is a good point.
But that's
the problem is.
But that's only because you twisted our words up. So now we got to find another way to make it make sense to you.
The problem is when a woman enters an argument, she already thinks she already know everything. So she's just listening to respond to whatever you said. She already got in her mind, this is what it is. You did this. You meant this by what you did. So you're talking. You ain't making no sense. And I got all the answers. So I'm not listening to you.
Y'all also don't realize how condescending y'all are when y'all talking to men either. My God. So there's a lack of respect there as well. Like all three of y'all, minus Alex, y'all are just ready to jump on the shit. But it's like, yo, y'all already talking down. Y'all already, like Isha just said, y'all assume that you're right. And you're not even willing to hear what his retort is going to be because you already think that you're right. And also I'm considering the type of men that y'all have dated across your lifetimes where you have to talk down to him. It sounds like y'all are dealing with niggas that need a bouncing ball when they speak. It's very elementary, silly ass niggas.
Who's y'all?
It's just yo, any man that has an argument to say, he's going to articulate it well, and he's going to let you ramble on. And then he's not going to want to deal with it because it's he might think oh, shorty's not that bright. But it seems like y'all argue with silly, dumb niggas. And it's just that's more a reflection of what your choices are in men.
Right. Have y'all ever?
Because you can say something to a man, especially when it comes to expressing yourself. And this is with any man. You can say something happens and you don't like what happened. So therefore, you go try to have the conversation. A nigga will automatically sometimes be like, "Here the fuck we go." You know what I'm saying? And automatically shut that damn door and not really even know what you about to say. So you're talking about we come in knowing what we about to say and what's about to happen, where niggas will automatically be like, here we go. All right, go ahead. What you about to say?
And I think that's partly because I think y'all underestimate a man's intelligence at times. Have you ever noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, all of y'all, have you ever noticed that when a man is impersonating a woman, we always make y'all sound like y'all nagging? And when y'all impersonating a man, you make us sound like we dumb. He said, "Oh, am I wrong?
They all do the same voice.
How it happens?
All of them, son.
All of
them, same voice all the time.
No, he gonna talk about something. Bro.
But remember,
that's why. Go ahead.
We just said last week, when a woman is asking you a question, she's asking to make sure that what you said was accurate. Whenever I ask somebody to repeat what they said, I'm trying to clarify that I heard what you said properly. Last week, the thing was, Adrian said, well, sometimes we don't know. And we used the example of, if you do something stupid as a child, if a little kid does something and you say, why did you do that? And they say, I don't know. You look like, that's not an acceptable answer. What do you mean you did not know? So then I think for women, we sit down, we backtrack. You're like, okay, I heard what came out of your mouth, but the actions surrounding are not adding up to what's coming out of your mouth.
So to
understand.
So you compare us to children.
No, to Eddie's point.
I'm not comparing you to children.
No, Eddie, I think the question is, should men talk to women similarly to how they talk to children?
But to Eddie's point.
Yes.
Sorry, I stepped away for a second. Eddie said that already?
No. I'm just saying, like, forgot my damn point now. See, I got me flustered over here. I'm ready.
You can't expect a woman to not ask you multiple questions or ask for clarity when you're doing this and saying this. So when the conversation comes up, it's like, me personally, if I ask you to repeat something, 9 times out of 10 is because I want you to hear how stupid you sound.
Okay, so in that is exactly what I just said. That is exactly what I just said.
Look at Adrian not nodding now. Now she like married or fucked it up.
No, what I'm saying is it's so you can hear yourself as well. So when I go back and be like, you know what? Remember when you said such and such and such? Because I'm the type of person that I take exactly what you said for how you say it. So you like delusional later.
I think B said.
And be like, hey, remember at 9:32?
Yeah, we got it.
You said such and such and such.
Yeah.
I think
so. You know what you said.
To B's point, I think it was like right, like y'all come in with all the answers. So regardless of what we say, it's got to get questioned because you have the answer already. So what the fuck's we having a conversation for?
Okay, they all pass the bar. They all lawyers.
Let's flip it with the women, right? For men who have been in relationships with women, and you ask her, is she okay? She says, I'm fine. Y'all know she's not fine, right?
So why are you lying, though?
You all just accept it's fine? Do you all just accept that she's fine?
What about what Q said? Q said, why is she lying?
Why did she lie?
Why do men lie when you ask them a question?
That shit.
I'm being direct.
That boils my blood. If you're not fine, tell me you're not. Tell me I'm not fine. I need it.
But what I'm saying, I say that to say, right? You know that answer is not correct. It's not accurate. You know they're not fine. So when a woman is asking a man a question, he just says one thing. It's just like, okay, let me ask you again.
No, but then on the flip of that, if I know you aren't okay, I'm not going to ask that question. I'm going to say, what's bothering you? What's wrong? I'm not going to ask, are you okay? I'm going to ask, what's wrong? What's bothering you?
So I've learned an invaluable lesson in regards to that I'm fine thing. And it was watching a show, but we can get into that later. So it's a pretty decent story. But I think it's a matter of, you're fine. All right. Well, if there's something bothering you, want to talk about it, then we can talk about it later and just leave it right there. Leave it at that right there.
So Chief, answer this question.
Sir.
Should men talk to women similarly to how they talk to children?
I don't believe so. I think you give them the respect they deserve and communicate effectively.
Okay. Mr. White?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the thing about communicating with women, right? As soon as their emotions get involved, it's really no point in continuing to talk to them because they're so affected by their their emotions that it's not logical anymore. You know what I'm saying? And emotions do matter. So that's why we have to speak to them as we speak to a child. When a child is typically reacting, they can't really comprehend everything that's going on at that particular moment in time, right? So as soon as you see that a woman gets in her emotions, that's when there's no point in you trying to win the argument or prove your point. The best thing you can do is just deal with the emotional part. So that's when you have to listen to understand, okay, I understand exactly what you are saying. Once she gets out of her feelings, come back, then you can have a better conversation to where she will be back open to listening to understand. But as soon as you see that emotional piece, dead it, because all you're going to do is make yourself upset. So we got to be just as strategic when communicating with women as we do with our children. Sometimes you just got to raise your voice, right? Let's be honest. Y'all want, get away from me, nigga. Like, you know, sometimes you got to put a little face in there to get them to listen. But most of the time, you really have to sit down and meet them on their level. And that's
Look at
the
their
same
face.
thing.
All they heard was children. Look at their face. All they heard was children.
I think
Can I
his
say
breakdown
something?
was immaculate, though. I think that
Yeah.
was a
I agree
clean
with
breakdown.
Can I say something to that?
I agree with that. Yeah.
I have disagreed with that statement from the same space as every woman on this panel who disagreed with it, thinking that it was insulting. Like, what the fuck you mean? Women are children?
Mhm.
But I have to agree with maybe this concept. And I don't think you said this, but that same gentleness that you use with children, I do believe that that could be effective, because when you're to that point that I was speaking of, okay, you're allowed to express yourself as an adult, and you say that you're fine when you're not. So at that point, if I'm dealing with you, that's like when a little kid is crying saying, no, it's okay, it's okay. The whole time it's not okay. And they're showing you that, right? So it's the same concept. You already know, you're like, to Adrian's point, you're dealing with this person who's overly emotional. You got to come at them with a gentleness now, as if you were talking to a young child, because anything outside of that is going to create more chaos. But I think the same applies also to men when it comes to women, that the same way that women will deal with their children with that gentleness, you guys have mentioned before, you want a safe space. The woman also has to deal with you in that way. So I think as adults, when we're in emotional spaces, we should deal with each other as children.
Boom. Love
Good
it.
point. That's a good point, Q. I think it's goes both ways. And I think that, that patience is what's required in communication with one another. And so the same way you're gentle and patient with children, because you care about that child, you want to be gentle with that child. You want that child to stop doing that particular behavior, right? But you want them to be okay. I get it. Be gentle, be strategic, be patient. Yes. But can we just say strategic communication?
No.
Because well, wait, I really wasn't done. That was rhetorical. And the reason why I say strategic communication is because when you say like how they talk to children, that just denotes a belittling or diminishing of the adulthood of the other person. So you don't want us to talk to you like your children, because you wouldn't want us talking to you like we have to talk to you men as children. We have to make sure we're very clear. So when you give us one word answers, we have to ask you further questions like, well, do you need this? Or, well, why did you do that, Timmy? Let's think this through. Like, you don't want to be talked to like a child. You don't. You would be very offended by that.
Asia.
And so would we too. Now, it's not about just being strategic. It's just say strategic communication. You want your message delivered.
No.
Come on now. You
Patient.
took the perfect point and you took it somewhere else.
I like your point. I agree with. I'm just saying, don't say
But then you started to disagree, because then you came back with that same energy from before, where it's like everybody was on the same page.
Yes.
With speaking to a child, and then you turned it into like the traumatic inner child, childlike degrading stuff that we had a misunderstanding of.
And I'm saying, so can we remove that word child then? Can we remove that word child?
But we all have to understand that. Why should we? We all understand that that's not the intent.
Right. So why do we have to use it then? Is there not a better word to use?
Because when it was reintroduced and then explained, everybody picked up what was being put down. So
absolutely. So I'm just saying, since we all understand it,
no,
we understand it 5 weeks later.
No,
we understand it 5
in
weeks
1 year out the other, son.
Maybe
no.
this the first time.
We're not gonna change the blood clot theory.
No, yeah, thank you for letting the panel be in agreement. Thanks, Aja. And then when Q in, because I usually don't like when people say both ways, but her understanding what Adrian said was so good, I didn't want to mess up the point. And then here you come, this nigga.
Because we could have got this the first time he said it 3 weeks ago. That's all I'm saying. We all agree, fine. But can we do an exposition of the sentence? That's all.
No.
Go back on mute.
No.
Because anytime we go back on mute, I'm gonna go back on mute.
Yo, Asia is that person. You a meeting about to end on Friday at 4:00 at work, and she want to ask one more question. You like this nigga? We trying to get out of here. Like, Yo, bro, man.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him
Damn, man. She crazy as hell, bro. Yo, interesting. Like, Eddie just pulled it, damn. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Adrian, way to surmise that. Q, way to bring some understanding to that. I think that was dope. Chief, you good with it now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Cool.
sir.
All right, my next question. What time is it? All right. Let me see. Oh, this one. Are modern women too comfortable talking to men any kind of way?
Hell yeah. Disrespectful asses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm with the fellas on that one. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, B.
No, so I was walking in the store and the lady, she steps on my shoes. So I said, "Excuse me, young lady, are you gonna say excuse me?" She said, "Fuck you." Rude bitch. Rude motherfucker.
B, what was your response? What did you say?
I never even saw it coming.
What was your response?
Damn shoes. Goddamn shame.
What was your response, B?
I just let her be in. It's whatever.
It's not. See, at that point,
you enabled it, B.
Yeah, I mean, just disrespect out of nowhere for no reason.
But what I'm gonna do? Fight in the grocery store? I mean,
nah, you should have just called all types of raggedy bitches and let it
go. Damn. So I heard what Eddie said. So the fellas, hey, do you, Mr. White, do you agree?
Yeah, look at how they be killing Eddie and B up here. Right? And I know, you know what I'm saying? And I know B will talk back, but for the most part, Eddie don't be disrespectful. Eddie don't really call y'all out y'all names. Eddie just be articulating his points. Eddie be getting killed up here. You know what I'm saying? And it happens in real life too. Like women be talking crazy to dudes. And when it happens to me, I just can't. I think it has to do with like that threat of violence. Like they think they won't get punched in the face, but niggas will punch you in the face.
And that's the thing. I'm glad you said that, Adrian. See, because here's the issue. If me and Hamp have a problem, I can't step to Hamp any and every kind of way. But women think they can step to a man any kind of way. And my whole thing is, like, it's as if you really could do something. Is my whole thing. Like, it's as if we really square up. You really gonna whoop my ass. You really could do something. That's what really.
I think Mary probably thinks she could take you, B. You know what I'm saying?
Mary don't got a chance in hell.
Mary a real nigga, that's why.
Mary is 5'4", 145 pounds, and he could pull your hair if you want to.
First of all, I'm 5'6", 200 solid. Okay. I go to the gym. Like,
Mary, you ain't got no hands.
Now you 200 for real?
Yes. You'd be surprised, huh?
I never would have thought that.
Body structure. It's all about body structure.
Listen, so the fellas seem to be on the same page. I tend to agree. Do any of the ladies agree with that?
I agree. But I think we know who to talk to. I think we know who we can get away with like that. We won't do it to just anybody. I think we may say something smart back, but I think as far as like going toe to toe and being able to get reckless at the mouth, I think we know who to do it with and not to.
I agree.
So you talking about like random men on the street? You could tell.
I wouldn't necessarily say random men on the street, but I feel like after the first encounter, I know. Like, I'm pretty hip. I've got a good sense of spirit to be like, okay.
Women do it a lot at restaurants.
You said what happened?
Women do that heavily at restaurants. They bring out something you didn't really order, or they come out the right way. Y'all pop off at the mouth.
Yeah. So random. Okay. So you saying you meet a nigga, you like, I can disrespect this nigga, so you do it?
I don't think you're going into it like I can disrespect you, but I think it's a matter of if you two should get into it, you could tell a man who's going to go back and forth with you all day. like, and give you that same energy. Like, there are just some men who you know is going to do that. I'm talking about being physical, but they are just, and then there are some men who are going to just walk away. I'm not even about to entertain you in your foolishness. I'm walking away. This isn't the problem that you want to have. Leave me alone. There are some men who will go back and forth with a woman, and women know who they are.
Okay. So do you think modern women talk to men any kind of way?
Do I think they're comfortable? Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Alex. Anybody else agree with Alex?
Yeah.
Isha? Mary?
I do.
I don't talk crazy to people, but
I think women test our limits. We test our limits until someone say, "Who the fuck you think you're talking to?" I test my limits. I'll call this dude. I was like, "Yo, you acting like a bitch." He was like, "Who the
How'd
fuck
you do that, son?
Because he was acting like a bitch, but it only took one time. Because I won't do it again.
You make do that shit again. That's right.
That's the equivalent.
What crawled into your spirit to call that man out of his name?
Right.
That's crazy.
I don't even
That's
know.
wild.
I don't even know what the argument was about, but he checked me, and we still cool to this day.
Call him a bitch though.
Yeah.
So Asia, what you think? Asia, what you think?
I get off mute. I think that people are a little bit too reckless with their mouths and they get too comfortable. I do. I think that women, since the question is modern women, okay, fine. Modern women, I think they are, because a lot of women, for whatever reason, think they can beat a man. I think we gotta respect each other. I'm not cool with that. And we can definitely size a man up. And we can sit there and size you up real quick and be like, whatever, chump you a little bit. But you better run just in case. Because, you know, you talk junk, run away real quick or turn around, something. Because if he jump on you, then what? Nobody want to get jumped on. I just think, watch your mouth. I agree. I do agree. I agree. They get a little bit too reckless.
And you don't think it's right? Go ahead,
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I don't think it's right at all. No, I think you talk with respect.
I was saying, and you'll see it even more up here in DC. These women in their mouths. Just go to a club on like a Thursday or a Friday. Shit's crazy. Have you just like go to any neighborhood in DC, like the hood, like Northeast Trinidad or Benning Road, and these women are stepping to these men like it's nothing. All up in their face, like it's as if you really could whip that man's ass.
So what do you think the resolution is? Like, what do you think the remedy is, men? Seriously, like, what do you think? Like, I know you don't like it. You're very uncomfortable. It pisses you off. So what do you think is the remedy? I want to know from y'all.
I think you should respect. I just like when I don't know if it was Chief or Adrian said, but there's no physical threat of violence, right? Because we live in a modern society, and so it's being taken advantage of. Stop taking advantage of that, right? Because without police and laws, like, you wouldn't dare, right? Because all you do is call another man to handle your problem, being the police. I know y'all was capping, I mean, at an all-time high when y'all said who to send for the police. But if we was in England and they don't have guns, he better send a man, right? Because now it's fisticuffs, you know? Even swinging a baton. You rather a man swing that baton in a vacuum than a woman, you know? So I think that women need to just understand and respect physical prowess, because we do.
But I think what you're saying here got to come with some level of accountability too, because I think a lot of that stuff starts in the home. Like, if you don't, as a woman, have a positive male figure, father, whatever, you're likely not going to learn very early on how to conduct yourself outside that home. So I think that, like, if you look at women who do that, myself included, at some point you were allowed to do that in your home.
Yeah.
So you don't give a fuck. Like,
I feel like that's home or relationship as well. Like, I see niggas let stuff slide in relationships all the time that I'd be like even me personally, when I see, you know, other couples talk to each other, I'd be like, you just call him a nigga? Like, I'd be taken back, like, and that's not even going in. It's just like, oh, nigga, go something. You just call him a nigga? Like, I'd be appalled. So I think a lot of that comes with men standing on, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, this is not what I'm going to allow. Like, because women don't like to be cut off. So if a lot of men stood on, you know, what they're going to accept, I feel like a lot more women will respect that.
So Mary, do you think if a woman had come from a positive home environment, she would do the same thing just because like it's easy to do it?
Yeah, I believe that because of society. Because it's not always what happens in the home. There's stuff that happens outside of home. Like how much stuff have we learned from peers in school versus what we've learned at home and still made bad decisions? You get what I'm saying? So a lot of that is just society in general.
I don't get what you're saying. I respect your answer.
I'm saying no matter how good the home is, don't mean somebody not going to act out outside of it.
I don't think they would have a reason to, is my position, but yeah.
I think respect is respect, no? Like in general. But so ladies, I want to ask a question real quick. Do you or women carry that same energy when it comes to other women? Because like B said, like he knows in certain situations he can't go to him as aggressive as you would go at him. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows with him he couldn't do certain things. Like would you carry that same energy with another woman the way you would a man?
Yes. Yeah, you ready to fight. Like, you know, if you go like y'all, it's the same way with men and women. Like, you know, if you talk reckless, be prepared to fight. You know what I'm saying? Women aren't prepared to fight dudes when they most more often than not, put it that way. But if I'm talking to a female and it gets reckless, we know we about to fight. Like it's expected.
No, I don't know.
So you're saying it's strategic when you talk to women, but men it's just freelance because you know he ain't gonna hit you back.
Well, again, I feel like I talk more crazy. I feel like I talk to women more crazy than I talk to men.
Yeah. So again, it's not
that's cap. That's cap. We had a whole conversation about how we pick our words on the last lady's point of view.
And what did I say? I said, listen, my friends know they're gonna get it any way they get it. They know that. I talk more. My mouth is more loose with women than it is with men.
So let's go outside of your friends circle. Like the chick who stepped on B's shoes and was like "F you." Like that seems crazy to me. I don't think if there's another woman, she would have said something like that.
Right.
I would have.
No. So here's the thing. We speaking in. So yeah, I think what Isha said is more realistic for the mass majority. So you're gonna speak to women more cordial because you know it could go there. While with men, you talk to them crazy because there's no threat of violence. That's the point, I think.
Right.
That like men put their hands on women more than they would other niggas.
Huh?
Is that just like when men will be quicker to fight a female than they would other niggas?
Who?
Just men, all the domestic violence shit that be going on.
More men kill each other in the street than like. What are you saying?
Those are outliers.
Men commit crimes against men.
Right, but
overwhelmingly.
But you don't feel like there's way more niggas that be out here committing domestic violence.
No.
But they be the same niggas that will not fight a nigga in the street.
No, and that stat has been debunked. It's actually more women committing domestic violence than men.
Do we think that in many of those cases? Do we think that in many of those cases the men is retaliating or responding? I mean, I know there's a lot of dudes who are just abusive and just nasty ass dudes. I get that, but do you think in many of those cases, like they've taken enough abuse and they're at their last resort, and that's what draws them to this domestic violence? Or you think the dudes are just out here beating women up?
I think. To be honest.
And then they get to a point of being exhausted by that shit. Like, if you come home allegedly to your peaceful haven, and here comes this nagging ass wife. I forget the Bible verse. It's rather deal with
on top of a roof than in the household with a contentious woman.
Yes, right. Like, so you coming home and it's just like your kids bring you joy. You got a dog that brings you joy, but here comes what's her face reminding you of some shit that she could have done while she was at home all day, and it's just like. Like you do with that, you just wither away over the years, and it's just like, and she gets surprised when you punch her in the face.
That's really what it be.
I mean, I'm not advocating for it. I've never hit a woman, but it's just like, we know what it is when somebody irritates the shit out of us.
I don't think it's out of irritation though, B. I think men resort to like the physical violence when they're being physically abused. Like they try to avoid it, and that's when it comes down. So I don't think there's. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think a woman could ever badger me or talk to me enough to make me want to just punch her in the mouth. Like,
yeah, like
some guys are not fighters though. Some guys are not violent, but it's just like, what else can I do? Like argue this woman down.
Think about that though. If a woman like nigga, you a bitch, this, that, and nigga, that's gonna come to a head. You ain't gonna deal with that every single day. And then you know what? Because you saying shit like, yo, you lucky this, that, and the third. At a point, you're gonna be unlucky one day. That's how luck works. It runs out.
Unlucky and single by herself. You know,
Don't that go back to y'all choosing the right partners too? I mean, decisions in the women
it does. Absolutely.
Think about how many people. Think about how many people have been in relationships and they don't know that old boy beat the hell out of them. They done fell in love and all that, and then all of a sudden he start going up top on her ass.
To a woman's mouth. In regards to how a woman's mouth is, if I promise you, she's that wild to you. You've seen her be that wild before to somebody.
Sometimes not. Sometimes
there's that too.
Amazing representatives, like y'all out here just chameleons and shit.
There's that
I think
too.
Beyonce is a devil, but she amazingly has a.
Women not as good as being chameleons as men.
I disagree. But that's another conversation.
I no
Makeup, lashes, hair, y'all look profound chameleons.
They're kind of as good as men because of the emotional to it.
I've definitely seen back in high school. This girl, we was in gym class or whatever it is, and she got real reckless in this boy's face. And she fake swung at him and he popped her back. And she was so confused. Like she was just so, Mary, don't let us say that. And I was trying not to say the person's name. She never did that again. She never did it again. And I was literally standing next to them and we were not expecting it to happen, but she got in his face. She fake swung at him and he popped her back. But the person who got in trouble wasn't her. He got in trouble. So he wasn't normally hitting women or anything like that. But that was not the right day. When she fake swung at him, he hit her back.
Yeah.
Well, I tell all women, don't hit me. Don't get in my face, because my sister, she made that mistake one day and she got knocked the fuck out. So whatever you do to Brian Graham, don't touch Brian Graham. I don't give a damn. We got in the argument. She made the decision to get in my face. Then she put her hand in my face. I took my fist. I knocked that bitch out. So no, whatever you do, don't hit Brian Graham, because Brian Graham hit back. That's all I can say.
No doubt. Q, what you about to say?
Yeah, I think that though there are toxic relationships like that. In a lot of ways, I feel like those unhealed areas of people's lives that draw them into that space. You know what I mean? Like if you're allowing somebody to speak to you a certain way or deal with you a certain way, that's a low vibration. It's some shit that needs to, maybe an area that needs to get addressed as to why that's acceptable for you. But it will be the catalyst to Chief's point. It will probably be the catalyst one day for why you end up becoming physical in that relationship, whether you're a male or female. And I don't think that male domestic violence gets highlighted enough as being equally as incorrect. I also don't believe that it being discussed that it's not limited to physical abuse gets addressed enough, because to that point, women, we be reckless with our mouths, and a lot of that emotional abuse, to me, in my opinion, is equally as damaging as physical abuse and completely unacceptable.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. And interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. A lot of interesting viewpoints there. I feel like we hit a lot of topic by accident. I think I need to listen back to this to see if we can explore those more in depthly. Man, it's been a dope conversation. Man, Nashville, weak niggas, communication. Good conversation, man. Listen, I don't like Jerry Springer, but I do fuck with one of his constructs. Mary, final thought.
Let those stepdaddies be stepdaddies. It's okay.
Word. Alex.
Listen to understand, please. Men and women.
Word. Drunk Chef.
Women don't know how to communicate.
Word. B.
If a bitch has one child, you can consider dating her. If she has more than one, run. And if a woman hits you, hit the bitch back.
God. Mr. White.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely have those difficult conversations if you are going to marry a woman with children. And communication, just continue to work on communicating to understand. When you notice a woman, especially women, are emotional, don't even try to use logic. Just sit there in that emotional space with them, validate them, focus on your tone. And once they pass that, then you can get back to, really having that conversation so that y'all can just continue to grow.
Word. Isha.
Single moms deserve a second chance at love, and women, let's learn how to listen for understanding and not to respond.
Word. Love.
Use your words, learn and try, make every attempt possible to properly communicate with the other person. Communication is a two-way street, and words matter. That's all I can say is words carry weight. Words create worlds. Don't forget.
Word. Chief.
I think Mr. White's point about validation is very important. Oftentimes women need to be validated that they are understood as well as being, listened to. I think we need to be very selective in how we communicate with women so that they understand, and understanding our partners and their best way to receive information is also clutch. And fellas, if you are going to date a woman with children, play the role. And if that's not your thing, then don't date a woman with children.
Word. Q.
Word. Yeah. I feel like, we gotta love one another. And if we analyze ourselves as individuals, we'll realize that we're all a lot alike.
Word. Man, definitely an interesting conversation. I think my biggest takeaway was even how Mr. White and Q further clarified talking to women as children. Because I might have said it first up here, but I think it was well explained. So I want to give those flowers for sure. I don't mind guns. I think we need guns, but I'm just trying to figure out which ones make the most sense. And if the government come in your ass is grass regardless, So let's be let's be realistic. You know what I mean? In terms of how we deliver information to each other, we really have to work on that. The panel is a microcosm, right? Outside of here, there's much more respect and things of that nature, but this is a debate show. So I'm not relegating people to how we act and respond up here, but it does have some semblance to how we are able to respond. Right. So all have things to improve on. And I think as we learn and grow up here, we also apply some of that shit in real life. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And we out.
Yeah.
We did good tonight. And within 2 hours.